All right, everybody, welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is October 4th, 2021. And, if you like the show, hit the share button. If you like the show, hit the like button. And if you're on Facebook, you can't see us today because Facebook doesn't work today. But if you happen to see the show later on today, like the Money Chat Now page, and hey, just so you know, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday night by going to investorschooling.com. You will learn about real estate investing, you will learn about stock options trading, and you will learn about it from those who do it every day. So today, we're going to be talking about the market update, and yeah, it was terrible, but it wasn't that bad. We're going to be talking about Facebook troubles. Who? Facebook? Who? You ever hear of those guys? I know if you go to facebook.com, it sounds like you never did hear of them. We're going to talk about airline stocks. We're going to be talking about the Evergrand change, J&J's booster shot, and then we'll be talking about the wrap-up show and see what we can do and talk about what's going to come next. All right, let's get right into it, and let's talk about what's going on today. The Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq, well, it was a rough day in the market today. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm beginning to see some serious signs of weaknesses in the continuing growth of the stock market. Personally, I believe it's currently too high, and it'll probably drop below 30,000, I'm going to say within the next 6 months. Between the Biden effect, no real catalyst coming up, except for really this earnings report, and the simple fact that trees don't grow to the sky, the market seriously cannot go up much higher unless some kind of catalyst brings it. So I'm actually seeing we're at the end, most likely the end of the highs. Just so you know, today, at one point, the Dow shredded over 500 points, and it ended, not bad, not good, of course. It ended down only 323. The S&P ended down 56, but the Nasdaq was trashed again, down almost 312 points. That's really bad. It was almost as low as 400 points at one point, so it's kind of rough. Look, guys, I'm telling you now, something not good is going to happen. But at the same time, it happened slow enough that I think it can make some money. So, of course, leading the fall in NASDAQ was Facebook, and they're in big trouble. So, I'm telling you right now, Facebook just can't get a break. It's amazing. Everyone's beginning to hate them. Everyone is beginning to. I don't think there's anyone left who doesn't hate them. I think that's really what it's come down to. We've been discussing the Wall Street Journal series called The Facebook Files, and just as it got boring, a new development was brought to our attention. Speaking of attention, a former employee of Facebook, Frances Haugen, is cited as the whistleblower for the information that the Wall Street Journal has been writing about. She's a former product manager who was hired to help prevent voter fraud. Voter fraud, that's what she was hired for. Oh, yeah. See, the reason Facebook's down is because let me tell you what it's all about. Facebook, do you really think that you are the tell-all, be-all of voter fraud? No, you're not. The real culprits are the Democrat Party. They just use you as a tool to help them fool the people. So Facebook, you don't have to get that much of an ego. It wasn't you who did it. It was the Democrats who realized that they can use you. Anyway, in the Wall Street Journal series, she discussed the fact that she was surprised by what she found. The journal series, based on part in the documents she gathered, as well as interviews with current and former employees, describes how the employees' rules favor elites, how its algorithms foster discord, and how drug cartels and human traffickers use its services openly. An article about Instagram's effect on teenage girls' mental health was the impetus for a Senate subcommittee hearing in which lawmakers described the disclosures as a bombshell. In fact, I actually think that was the least amount of importance of this entire thing. Anyway, this all putting Facebook in a bad position, and I'm going to tell you right now, we should watch for damage control shortly, unless, of course, honestly, maybe Facebook being out today was their damage control. Maybe they realized that everybody and their brother was going to be pasting nasty things about Facebook, and they decided to use this as damage control by shutting Facebook down. But then again, that would make me a conspiracy theorist, and I wouldn't want to say that. I also wonder if Haugen will be suicided by the party, because that's certainly possible. Anyway, Facebook's going to be needed to answer some questions regarding these accusations in front of a Senate subcommittee. Listen, Facebook, I'm going to talk to you right now. I'm going to help you out. Maybe you should stay away from the dark side and start letting true American patriots use your platform to express what's on their mind instead of suppressing them. Oh, wait a minute. You're suppressing me right now because your platform's down. I actually believe that it's really possible that today's plan was actually Facebook doing damage control, or it was perfectly planned hacker with perfect timing, or is it total coincidence? Well, I don't think anything is total coincidence. And of course, we'll never know the truth because Facebook clearly never tells the truth, according to Hagen. Bottom line, you ready for this? Actually, believe it or not, I believe Facebook is a really great play into earnings. And as we have learned time after time with Facebook, it always recovers after earnings, and the sheeple will always return to Facebook. Watch for some choppiness and more buying opportunities as the story gets some legs. But I actually believe that, believe it or not, this is a buying opportunity. I think it's a good time to buy Facebook, and I think I'll be very happy that you did. Let's talk really quickly about some airline stocks and some of the plays. I've been saying it all along. And if you've been following me, I've been telling you, buy airline stocks, buy cruise stocks. So here's what's going on. The airline stocks are going to roar really short. Soon, they're going to be kicking butt. What's the biggest problem holding them back? Well, of course, it's a dumbass mask mandate. And eventually, the Supreme Leader Biden is going to not renew the mandate. And hopefully, it will be in January. And and by the way, if the other idiot, Frosky, would also stop talking and keep his mouth shut, we would have a great travel summer. It may be possible it'll be the biggest and best season in history for travel if the Supreme Leader Biden and the other guy Frosky allows it. So if this happens, it's going to be really great. So here's some more good news about the airline industry. The industry has expected to lose close to $12 billion next year, cutting its losses from this year by 78,000 as carriers slowly recover from the government overreach pandemic, also known as the COVID pandemic. This was reported by the International Air Transport Association. Of course, I put my own commentary in there. I just want to make sure that you knew that they didn't call it the government overreach pandemic, only I did. Another catalyst for the stocks to improve is that the Supreme Leader's administration stated that it would lift bans on international visitors. These bans were put in place early in the pandemic, and the date of this ban lift is still in the works, but I would suspect it will be shortly. With all that being said, I believe the airline stocks are going to be a great play and they're going to rally. I would buy the stocks, or if you're buying the options, I would buy it into the spring to be safe. And it might be the very last recovery play left in the market. My only caution would be, that I would point out, is the fact that the market is going to retreat about the same time. So don't look for the same values that the airline stocks were before the government overreach pandemic. Instead, look for values of about 20% less than the top of the market before the shutdown. All right, guys. By the way, real quick, Barclays also turned bullish on airline stocks in a report today. They believe Southwest can soar by 38%. Barclays raised its price target on Southwest Airlines to 75 from 64, and the new target again is 38% above where the stock closed Friday. I like Southwest. I like AAL. I like Delta Airlines as well, and of course I like the cruise stocks. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back. Maybe by then Facebook will be back on.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Money Chat now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse. And is there anybody there? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody listening? Is there anybody watching? Facebook is down today, and we go to 20 different Facebook channels. I don't think anybody's watching this show. But you know what? You're going to miss it because it's a really good show, so I'm hoping you're watching it. So far we've been discussing the fact that the market update, we've been talking about Facebook troubles. Hey, did I mention that already? We've also been talking about airline stocks and what a great play they're going to be. And of course, now coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about Evergrand. And we're going to talk about what else is going on in the world. So let's go right over into Evergrand and let's talk about them. So Evergrand is an indebted developer, is set to sell part of its stake in its property services suite. The second asset sale in as many as weeks in the liquidity squeezed property giant scrambles as the liquidity squeezed property giant scrambles to raise cash. So trading in shares of Evergrande and Evergrande Property Services was halted Monday morning in a filing with the Hong Kong Exchange. By the way, Evergrande said it requested the trading halt ahead of its announcement about a major transaction. So what they were basically doing was they're saying, hey, listen, our stock's going to go crazy right now, up or down, most likely up. And they didn't want insider trading. They didn't want to be accused of insider trading. It was very smart that they did that. Chinese developer Hobson also suspended trading of its shares, citing an impending announcement about a major transaction to acquire the shares of Hong Kong-listed company, without specifying who it was. I wonder who it could be if they both use the same words, major transaction, and both halted their trading. Amazing, right? So Chinese state media Global Times reported all this, and they cited unnamed media reports that Evergrande will sell about 51% of its property services to Hobson for more than $5 billion. So if you recall, Evergrande, the largest property owner and developer, was in trouble a few weeks, and many thought it was the beginning of the end of the stock market rallies. Well, hey, they weren't far off, because that's basically when the market started to fall down, but the market shook off the news of Evergrande and the fact that they didn't make their payment to the bondholders, but the timing was amazing. That it happened to be like the beginning of the bear market, might be right around that day. Either way, it looks like Evergrande has found a way out, and some shareholders are about to clean up as Evergrande solves this problem. I would say Evergrande will probably double tomorrow, just because of the announcement, if they can actually be trading again. Hey, let's go into J&J's booster shot. So J&J is planning to ask U.S. federal regulators this week about authorizing a booster shot of its COVID-19 vaccine, is what the New York Times reported. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, last week scheduled an October 15th meeting of its expert advisory committee to discuss whether to grant emergency use authorization for a booster shot of J&J's vaccine. If you recall, last week, Merck announced a pill for treatment of COVID, and that it caused many of the vaccine companies like Moderna and Pfizer to drop. By the way, I like J&J as a play at this point. I believe it'll go back to high 160s, like 168, and it's a play. But on a side note, how funny is it the fact that one-shot company had the one-shot company now has 2 shots, and the 2-shot company now has 3 shots? Look, it's always about following the money. It's real simple. If you can't sell to new customers like the anti-vaxxers, right, then why not sell to your existing customer base? Duh. And they'll buy that booster shot because they took the original one hook, line, and sinker. And now, of course, most likely 50 to 60% of those people will get the booster shot because they believe in it. Oh my God, I might die if I don't get a booster shot. And that's the idea. The idea is selling to your current customer base. It's absolutely brilliant. It's marketing. Marketing 101. Sell to your customer base. And that's what's going on there. All right. So let's take another quick break right now, and I'll come back and we'll talk to you more about whatever it is I want to talk to you about, because so far Facebook is making me laugh that they're still out, and Facebook is in big trouble, but it's a great play. We'll talk about that in a minute. Investor schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor schooling? Never heard of.
Investor schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Investor schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling. Those guys are everywhere, except, of course, on Facebook today, because Facebook isn't everywhere today. Hey, think about that. Facebook is down. Just think about this, right? Think about the fact that if Facebook could go down, does that mean that the entire internet could go down? I believe it actually means the entire internet can go down one day. If Facebook is as large as it can, as large as it is, I mean, I'm not talking about Facebook being out like, a couple of people here and there, a couple of areas. I mean, it's down. It's completely off. I still think it was a revenge thing that Facebook just shut themselves down so they didn't have to see all the people posting about how bad and how stupid they are. But it's pretty interesting that they are down. But I'm going to tell you right now, you ready for this? I'm going to tell you that I believe that Facebook is a play. And if you've been watching the show so far, you know that, again, we've been talking about the Facebook. We've been talking about some other great stocks, some other great plays. I believe J&J is a great play. I also believe Apple's a great play. I actually think Apple is the best play of everything out there right now because it's the options. By the way, the options are cheap on Apple, so I like Apple. I think Apple's going to do well. I think Apple isn't dependent on all of the other problems that everything else is dependent on. Apple has its own little environment that everybody works in, which is the iPhone and the iPad, which, by the way, I probably have 20 iPads. So as long as I keep buying iPads, Apple will be fine. And that's part of why I think Apple's a great play. Facebook, on the other hand, it's a great play, but it's dangerous. Will they solve their problems, or at least will they be back online tomorrow? I will tell you right now, if Facebook's not online tomorrow, the stock will probably drop 10 to 13 or 15 points. If they're online by tomorrow, I expect the stock to rise 5 to 6 or 7 points. Nothing major. And as we start going into earnings, it'll do really, really well. Again, I've said this before, CCL, AAL, Airline Stocks, Cruise Stocks, buy them, buy them, buy them. This is going to be a great play as we go into the spring. And, as long as the Supreme Leader Biden gets rid of those stupid mask mandates, we will actually have some really good plays coming up. I like Robinhood still. I know Robinhood has been sitting in around 40. It's all right. I like Coinbase actually hit a number I like today, but as usual, the option plays are just kind of rough on that one. I also want to see, by the way, I want to talk a little bit about the crypto plays. So crypto, is intriguing me lately. And today, Bitcoin actually almost hit 50,000. Ethereum hit 3,400, which is pretty good. Of course, my other one, Doggy, let's see where we are with that and see what happened with that today. So Doggy's back up to 25, which is also nice too, or 24, I guess, which is also nice too. And then my other new favorite, Shiba, whatever it is, I don't even know if I could even look it up. Now I can't even look it up, so that's fine. But that one's doing really well too. It was up actually. It's up. I don't even know what it was, but it actually broke a millionth of a cent. So it's no longer a millionth of a cent. It's a 900. I don't even know what it is because I can't even. It's so many zeros. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to seeing that hit 1 cent, and I can cash in and have $2.5 million. All right, guys. I thank you so much for watching Money Chat Now. I totally appreciate it. Again, hit the like and share button. And if you're back on Facebook, or if we're back on Facebook, don't forget to like the Money Chat Now page. That's if Facebook ever comes back in business. Who knows? Of course, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in this show. The opinions discussed in this show are solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Thanks again for watching